We'll start the official part of the meeting after we've been sworn in. So Dottie Powers is here to do that. But why don't I just run through the roll call quickly for people who are here? Jody Cucciselli?
Here.
Ken Ayers? Here. Peter Bean?
Here.
Sarah Cantley?
Here.
John Cummings?
Here.
Harry Davis?
Here.
Paul Dulay?
Here.
Yep. And Nancy James?
Here.
Thank you. I'll turn the meeting over to Dottie.
Hello, everybody. There were 9 members appointed by the Westwood Select Board. And I will be swearing you in today. Ken Ayers, Peter Bean, I see Peter. Sarah Cantley, John Cummings, Harry Davis. Paul Delay was sworn in on November 26th. Nancy James was sworn in on November 26th. Jody Patriciello, sorry. Ford Spalding. Okay, if you could all stand, please. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear and affirm
Solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
according to the best of my knowledge and ability,
according to the best of my knowledge and ability,
perform the duties as a member
as a member
Station 1 Steering Committee
Station 1 Steering Committee
in accordance with the Charter
in accordance with the Charter
of the Town of Westwood and the laws of the Commonwealth.
and laws of the Commonwealth.
Thank you. Thank you all for your service. Okay, we're going to get right into the quick kind of short training on open meeting law and ethics. That's it.
I don't have a clicker, so I can just click it for you.
So you can click. You did the oath. Okay, so open meeting law, your board and committee members must file a certificate, which I've given everybody a certificate or flying certificate that you have to fill out within 2 weeks of your appointment or oath, acknowledging receipt of the open meeting law, which everybody received a copy here, and its regulations as educational materials, confirming your understanding and agreeing to stay updated on revisions. The certificate will be retained in the town clerk's office for 6 months from the final day of your term. The law promotes transparency, prevents secret decision-making, and is enforced by the state attorney general. Members will learn which meetings are covered, the rules to follow, and common violations. Next. Some definitions. Meetings covered by the open meeting law encompass any deliberation amongst a quorum of a public body to discuss matters within the jurisdiction of the body. Deliberation, this is an important one, in oral or written communication through any medium, including electronic mail, between or amongst a quorum of a public body on any public business within its jurisdiction. A quorum is a simple majority of the members of the public body, unless otherwise provided, excuse me, in a general or special law, executive order, or other authorizing provision. A public body is a multiple member board, commission, committee, or subcommittee with any city, region, or town, however created, elected, appointed, or otherwise constituted, established to serve a public purpose. Subcommittees. Any multiple member body which is created to advise or make recommendations to a public body. The Attorney General looks to 3 factors when determining if a group constitutes a subcommittee. It's within government, it's empowered to act collectively, and serves a public purpose. Practical ways to avoid violations. 1 person does not substitute a subcommittee. A conservative approach when 2 or more members are tasked to accomplish something together. You post meetings and comply with the open meeting. Basic requirements is notice. The timing on a notice is you post your notice no less than 48 weekday hours, never including weekdays, weekends, or holidays. Location must be posted in location. Location must be posted in an accessible location 24 hours a day, including the website, which we have it on our town website. Meeting must be held in an ADA, American with Disabilities accessible location. The purpose is presumption of open session, limited authority to meet in closed session, which would be executive. Conduct of the meeting. There's a difference between, a lot of people ask between a meeting and a hearing. A public meeting is open to the public under mass open meeting law. It covers general business of a board, quorum, or commission. The public may attend, serve, and sometimes comment, but the main purpose is deliberation amongst members. A public hearing is required for certain actions. There are additional and stricter notice requirements. For example, the hearing notice must be published in a newspaper of general circulation in the town for 2 successive weeks and posted conspicuously in town hall at least 14 days before the hearing, open to the public, but tied to a specific proposal, project, or legal requirement. It provides a formal opportunity for residents to present comments or testimony. In the conduct of meeting, again, is to speak and when, and there's remote and hybrid meetings. Minutes. Minutes are content detailed to allow someone who is not present to know what was discussed. Timing for approval for open meetings, it's within 3 meetings or 30 days, whichever is later. Approval is in accordance with the above timeline, either the body or a designee thereof. Executive session minutes are not public until the purpose has been served. What is a meeting? Meetings covered by the open meeting law encompass any deliberations amongst a quorum of the public body to discuss matters within the jurisdiction of the body. The meeting does not include attendance by a quorum at an on-site inspection, provided that members do not deliberate. And that's the important word, deliberate. Best practice, post notice for a follow-up meeting of board if members anticipate that they will want to discuss or respond to matters raised at the site visit. The meeting does not include attendance by a quorum in a public or private gathering. If everybody's invited to a Christmas party, and you don't have to post a notice. Social events, as long as, again, you don't deliberate. Best practice, avoid creating the appearance that a public body is discussing municipal business outside of a posted meeting. Meetings covered by the open meeting law encompass any deliberation amongst a quorum of a public body to discuss matters within the jurisdiction of the body. It specifically includes email communications, text messages, social media, and serial conversations. It specifically excludes, so this is what you can do, distribute meeting agendas, schedule or procedural information, and distribution of meeting materials, reports, or documents, so long as no member expresses an opinion, belief, or idea about those materials. Meetings covered by the open meeting law encompass any deliberation amongst a quorum of a public body to discuss matters within the jurisdiction of the body. Quorum is a simple majority of the members of the public body unless otherwise provided in a general or special law, executive order, or other authorizing provision. This is a 9-member committee, therefore at least 5 members must be present for a vote to be valid. If a quorum is not present, the public body may not convene because it may not deliberate or act on an item, and the meeting would be typically canceled or continue to another date, provided all posting requirements have been fulfilled. Conducting the meeting, the legal requirements. The open meeting law does not require that members of the public be allowed to speak. It does not mandate any particular format for public participation. The chair has a discretion over who may speak and how long they may speak. Limits on rules. Any rules about public participation must focus on the process, order of speakers, and time limits, not restrict protected speech under the First Amendment, and be specific and narrowly tailored to the public body's interest, managing time and keeping order. Best practices for handling public comments. When managing public participation, do not respond immediately to a comment before the board discusses the item. For controversial matters, avoid debate in the moment. Let the board consider it formally and leave any unresolved issues raised during public participation. Don't make decisions on the spot. Place items on a future agenda with proper notice if formal consideration is needed. Email. This is where we get in trouble. Email. A quorum may not use email or social media to share their ideas, feelings, opinions, or beliefs on board business, whether serially or in a single email, and may not use a staff member to avoid communicate to a quorum. So many of you are new, first time on board. So just always remember the rule. Do not email amongst any of your members. And the only thing that you can email to, if the chair is asking you if you can make a meeting or send you information. So just be aware of that. And it's probably not a good idea either to share any of your feelings on any social media, Instagram, Facebook. That's the way you get yourself in trouble. The Attorney General has acknowledged that it can be difficult to determine when a communication serves an administration function and when it contains substantive discussion in violation of the law. The best advice continues to be that public bodies not communicate, again, over email at all, except distributing meeting agendas, scheduling meetings, distributing documents created by non-members to be discussed.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So the email restriction, it just applies to a quorum. So that would mean the email would have to be by and between at least 5. Right, okay, thanks.
And let me just add, emails, if you have emails, really should go through Molly and myself. All emails should go to them, and then we will distribute it out to everybody as the course of business.
Yes.
But that's very important that we
Yes.
do that.
Don't reply all.
Don't reply.
Do not reply.
No. Reminder, do an email for availability for meetings, distribution, as we just discussed, of documents and meeting packet, but don't comment on the materials. And do not give any opinion or thoughts on a pending topic or application. Open questions such as, how do you handle this? If you ask me, I think the area is too densely developed, and so on. And beware of reply all on all emails. Social media use is also covered by the open meeting law. If a member posts opinions on social media, group, blog, chat room, or listserv that other members of the board can see, it may violate the open meeting law. The Attorney General cautions public bodies in use of Facebook and other social media. Best practices, again, do not direct comments to other members of the body. If matter directly involves an issue pending before the public body, do not engage. And be thoughtful about the manner in which social media comments are made. And once a comment is made, it's never going to go away. So just be aware of that. Meetings, location, accessibility. Location of a meeting must include in the notice, if on Zoom or hybrid, notice must include instructions on how to access Zoom location, the complete webinar link, including telephone numbers. Meeting must be accessible for persons with disabilities required by the open meeting law and ADA. Practical recommendations: do not move meeting to a different location unless that alternate location is posted on the meeting notice or clearly posted on the door. For example, if there was an issue with a room, maybe you posted it for this one you were going to meet in, and the electricity wasn't working and you had to go to another room. So you have to make sure that you put a notice on the door that your meeting is going to be in the other room. Sometimes emergencies like that happen. Do not close and lock the door during an open session. Doors have to be unlocked and open. Do not require a password to enter Zoom meeting unless individuals can promptly obtain passwords for the duration of the Zoom meeting. And consider whether glitches in remote access meetings require that the meeting terminate. The meeting notice must be posted 48 hours, as I said earlier, prior to the meeting, not including Saturday, Sunday, or legal holidays, except for a true emergency. And all meeting notices should be sent to the town clerk's office during normal office hours. We'll go ahead and post it. And just keep in mind that if we receive a notice after we close, then it has to be posted on the next day, and you might not be within your 48 hours. So make sure that you post, early enough. Emergencies: a public body can meet without the requested 48-hour notice if there's a sudden, generally unexpected occurrence of a set of circumstances demanding immediate action. Poor planning or scheduling challenges do not equal an emergency, and natural disasters and public health or safety issues do qualify as an emergency. Your meeting notice has to have when and where, date, time, location, topics, list the items the chair reasonably anticipates, and be specific for public understanding. Avoid old business, new business, and any acronyms or shorthand. Late topics. You have to update your notice as soon as possible if unanticipated. Postpone any controversial items if possible. And if you're going to revise your notice that you're adding something, you have to show your original and revision dates and times and highlight any changes in red. And a catch-all. So you want to always put this on your notice. Other business that may properly come before the board, not previously anticipated by the chair, in case there is something that comes up at the last minute, which you really, again, should, if it's going to be controversial, it should wait till the next meeting. So it'll be posted the right way. I don't know, do you want me to go through all these?
No, they don't have a
Just-
big
yeah,
discussion.
I'm not gonna go through that.
Sorry.
So right now, the governor has extended the current suspension of in-person requirements through June 30th, 2027. And the public only needs one means of access, either virtual or in person. Adequate alternative means of public access include telephone, internet, satellite-enabled audio, or video conference. Any other technology that enables the public to follow proceedings in real time. And it authorizes all members of the board to meet remotely, suspending open meeting laws requirement that the chair and quorum be physically present at the meeting. And the public body may meet in person while requiring general public to attend remotely. So for example, we're at hybrid today. Notice for remote meetings, where the meeting is to be held virtually. I think I already talked about that. Clear instructions, a Zoom link, the passcode. When you do go into your open meeting, you announce the recording. The chair should announce that the meeting is being recorded at the beginning of the meeting. The recording is a public record, but can be deleted after the meeting minutes are prepared and approved, unless a request for minutes under open meeting law or the public records law is received before the minutes are complete. You want to announce all names. The chair must announce the names of all board members participating remotely, even if the entire board is remote. It is insufficient for names to be displayed on the video platform. The names of members participating remotely also must be recorded in the meeting minutes. And you conduct all votes by roll call. Every single motion in a remote meeting must be conducted by roll call. Roll call votes on every matter must be recorded in the meeting minutes as well. Technical, these are some issues for remote meeting requirements, technical issues. If technical issues make it difficult to see or hear any board members, presenters, or members of the public body, the chair should suspend the discussion until the issues can be corrected. If the issues cannot be corrected, the board should continue the meeting to another date and time. The time at which any technical difficulties arose must be recorded in the meeting minutes. There should be no private chat. Just as members of the public body cannot whisper or send text messages to each other in an in-person meeting, members of a public body also cannot use private chat function on video conferencing platforms to communicate. We don't have to worry about executive session. The chair must make public statement recording, audio or video reporting if an attendee intends to record, necessary to comply with the wiretap statute. The recording by a public member of the public body, they must inform the chair. The chair makes required announcement. The chair may reasonably regulate recordings, placing the equipment, so on, in First Amendment considerations. Do you want me to go?
No, let's get the minutes. We'll take care of the minutes.
Open meeting law complaints must be filed with the town clerk and public body within 30 days of the alleged violation. The chair of the public body must distribute copies of the complaint to the members of the public body. The public body has 14 days from the date of receipt to review the complaint's allegations, take remedial action if appropriate, and notify the complainant of the remedial action. And forward a copy of the complaint and its response, including a description of any remedial action taken to the Attorney General's office. You must post the meeting notice to review the complaint and discuss response. And town council should also be involved in any open meeting law. Enforcement upon finding a violation of the open meeting law, the Attorney General has a range of enforcement options, including compel immediate and future compliance with the open meeting law, compel attendance at a training session authorized by the Attorney General, nullify in whole or in part any action taken at the meeting, impose a civil penalty on the public body of not more than $1,000 for each intentional violation, and compel that minutes, records, or other materials be made public or prescribe any other appropriate action. Okay, so we're done with that open meeting law. And the next thing for everybody that's new to a board and committee, we have to go by conflict of interest laws. Who is a municipal employee? It's any person performing services for or holding an office, position, employment, or membership in a municipal agency, whether by election, appointment, which everybody here is appointed, contract of hire, engagement serving with or without compensation on a full-time, part-time, temporary, or consulting basis, excluding election members of town meeting and members of a charter commission, which we don't have either. When am I prohibited from acting because of a financial interest? You may not participate in a matter in which a business you may be an owner, director, employee, or an immediate family member has a financial interest. You may not participate in a matter in which it appears you may act for reasons other than the town's best interest. When do I have to file a disclosure? Any potential conflict of interest should be addressed with the State Ethics Commission for advice on how to proceed. So what you would do is if you feel like there's going to be some kind of an issue, then you're going to contact the State Ethics Commission, and they're going to give you advice as an attorney of the day. And most often you have to file a disclosure with the town clerk. You may not act in a manner which would cause a reasonable person having knowledge of the relevant circumstance to conclude the employee is acting with bias, favoritism, or otherwise for personal reasons. You may not solicit or receive anything of substantial value, $50, or because of any official act performed or to be performed under your official responsibility. Some gifts are exempted, some require written disclosures, others are prohibited. Exempted gifts, if entirely unrelated to the employee office or any official action, if somebody wanted to, a raffle, pizza, something like that. Written disclosure required if related to office or action and less than $50. Disclosure is necessary to avoid appearance of conflict of interest. You file disclosure with the appointing authority and town clerk. I don't think anybody here is going to be traveling, so we can get rid of that. So this is the important piece with the ethics laws. Upon appointment, and every 2 years thereafter, all committee members must complete the conflict of interest law online training within 30 days of beginning your term. So that means everybody here has to complete the online ethics training. And I will send you all a link later on. And upon appointment, every commission member must be provided a summary of the conflict of interest. So that comes annually. And you get an email that you have to go in. It's ScaleBurst. It's a state platform. And you'll go in there and you'll look at the ethics summary and just check it off. And that's it.
Thank you, Dottie.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dottie. Does everybody still want to stay on this committee?
It's all good. Anybody have any questions? If you have any questions, give me a call.
Thanks,
Okay.
Dottie. Yep.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Doug.
We call the meeting to order, the official meeting to order. We're going to do business, and pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, amended on March 28, 2025, Governor Maura Healey signed into law an act extending pandemic-related authorizations related to public meetings, allowing remote meeting options for public bodies through June 30 of 2027. Today is December 1, 2025. The FS1 screening committee meeting will be conducted in person and via remote participation for the committee. The chair grants permission to Allison McCarthy to record the meeting via Zoom and ask if there's anyone else who wishes to record the meeting. Please let me know your name and address. Hearing none. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here and agreeing to be on this committee. And this is really an organizational type meeting that we'll go through. I was asked to be chaired by the selectmen and Jody Petroselli to be vice chair. So we're here to help you, but we're all acting as one committee, not as individuals. So what I'd like to do is just share a few thoughts under the chair's update. You'll hear a little in a few minutes. My past work is doing this kind of thing, but it's been fairly extensive. But hopefully we will operate as a committee and always work towards consensus. That's key among not only the committee, but when we are working with the general public, our residents. This is not about us individually. It is about the residents of Westwood. Is about getting to yes for FS1. We need to come up with some recommendation solution. So we don't know exactly what that'll be at this point. It's about education for ourselves and education for the community and lots of communication, as much communication as possible with the community. It is not about advocacy. Individually we take the job very seriously. But try not to take yourself seriously. And the reason why I mention that is we will probably get criticized by some, and don't take it personally. We're just trying to do the best job we possibly can. Time is not on our side. My experience in public construction, costs are going up and they're going to continue to go up. So time is on our side. We want to be as expedient, but as careful as we possibly can. Because the longer it takes, the higher the costs. Public construction just goes up. My suggestion is we have 2 working meetings a month with an additional citizens communications meeting. We'd like to have a quorum for that, not totally necessary, but I think it gives the citizens one more chance to sort of talk to us about what we have done. The working meetings will be at 10 a.m. Mondays at alternate locations. I said to Molly, because the library doesn't open at 10, we probably should say 10:15 so we can get in. And as much as possible, if we could have a quorum at the meeting, that would be very helpful. But if you can't be here, obviously remote is available. The citizens meeting, I would assume, would be probably in the evening because that's how we can communicate best with citizens. We don't have a date for that, and we'll figure that out as we go. My preferred practice for a working meeting is to have citizen comments, and I've done this a lot in the past in the end of the meeting. That way, the citizens have something to comment about, maybe what we have done, and then we will try to respond either at the next meeting or a later meeting, depending on what the questions are. We anticipate that most of our meetings, all of our meetings actually, will be recorded and posted on a town website. And we would like to have that posted as soon as possible on the website so people can see our agenda, our minutes, and our meeting. I think communication is key. If I had to think back on our last experiences in Westwood, I'm not sure that was quite what it should have been. So we should try to do that. And then as we go along, we'd like to communicate as much as possible with social media, newsprint, committee meetings, but that will all come out of the townhouse. What I'd like to do now is just to have each of us go around and introduce ourselves. A lot of you I have not met before, and so I think it's very helpful if we all have some background information. It's good for the public to know. And let me just start. I'm at 10 Longwood Drive, which is Fox Hill Village, and we moved there in February of 23. And I came here from Dover, just around the corner. My house was 7 minutes away, where I lived for 52 years. 46 of those years, I was involved in town government. It's sort of my passion, what I literally like to do. I was in the insurance business, so I did have an income to do that, but it was really something I liked very much to do, and I'm happy to be able to do that here in Westwood. I was on the Long Range Planning Committee. This is how I started. And each of these terms were about 6 years. Then on the Finance Warrant Committee for 6 years, Board of Selectmen, where my first project that I worked on was our town dump, which is really on Hale property, leasing Hale property. We made it into a really state-of-the-art transfer station. So that was the first thing I did when I was a selectman. It wasn't just it was a whole lot of us. I was on the Dover-Sherburne Regional School Committee for 6 years. Served on helps me with this job. I was on the Board of Fire Engineers in Dover for 24 years. You didn't want me fighting a fire. That was the last thing you wanted me to do. But what we did is, it's in the statute, we appointed the officers annually. And we did the budget annually, usually did the budget presentations at town meeting, and we signed the warrants every month. So we had meetings 12 times during the year for the fire department, and did that for 24 years. I was in the Minuteman Regional Vocational School. That's Dover's vocational school. Yours is
Okay.
Blue Hills. During those times I was on this committee, I also chaired the Dover-Sherburne Regional School Building Committee, where we built a brand new middle school, renovated a high school, redid the campus, built a wastewater treatment plant, and a fire suppression tank. If you've been over to Dover-Sherburne for games, you've seen a blue tank that's there. That's just for the sprinkler systems in the building. So that was with two communities, Dover and Sherburne, and I co-chaired that with a woman by the name of Libby Young. I chaired the Minuteman Vocational School Building Committee, which was actually about a 12-year process, because we had 16 members of the school committee. So we had to get this through 16 towns, and the 16 towns all unanimously had to support us. They didn't as a town, but they had to unanimously support what we did. So I spent 2.5 years or so going to selectmen's meetings, finance committee meetings, etc., town meetings in all 16 towns. We got to yes, we ended up having to go through a district-wide vote. Belmont was, selectmen were against this. We did a district-wide vote. We had an over 70% yes vote to proceed with that project. And then just finally, I completed the Dover Community Center Committee building, which opened in September. It's right across from the town hall. It's a 20,000 square foot building. So we did that. That took about 20 years because it was not a have to do, it was a want, but it finally got done. So I've had some experience doing what we're doing, and I think that's why I was chosen to chair this committee. So why don't we go around the table, and Jody, why don't you go next and tell us about yourself?
Sure. My name is Jody Petroselli. I have lived in Westwood since 2001. I'm an attorney. I did private practice in a litigation law firm in Boston for about 20 years. Then I left for a period of time, did some teaching, did some nonprofit work, did some small solo practice around home while my kids were at that critical age as teenagers where I thought I should be home a little bit longer. And I just recently went back to work. I now actually work for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I am Assistant Bar Counsel for the Board of Bar Overseers. Throughout that long career, I have held a variety of both public and private committee appointments, things of this nature, but this is my first one specifically for the town of Westwood. And I'm here because I think it's important to get this done. I think it's important we get it done in a way that we can get the town to vote on it and pass on it, and I'd like to help see that can happen.
Ken,
Hi, good morning. Sorry, everybody. I was
no
late.
problem.
We had my daughter's baby shower yesterday, so I was in the middle of cleaning up. Anyway, Ken Ayers, I've been a resident in Westwood for a little over 40 years. I live over on Glen Road. I have been part of a number of committees over the years, from Recreation Commission, chairman on the board for almost 20 years, I think. Wife was on before me, I followed her, and I worked for Verizon for almost 30 years. After Verizon, I went to the Western Public Schools as operations director for 14 years. And I was on the school building committee that we just built, the beautiful Pine Hill School. And I'm a member of the permanent building committee.
Great.
And I'm looking forward to this committee and coming up with a solution that the best fits the town.
Peter Bean?
Hi, Peter Bean, a lifelong resident of Westwood. It's 56 years and counting. This is my first committee. Appreciate the chair for asking me to join. My background, I spent 25 years in counting in commercial real estate. I hope to help bring that perspective to getting to a yes on the fire station. And that's it. So glad to be here.
That's good. Thank you. Sarah? Very good.
Sarah Cantley. I live over on Pine Lane. This is also my first committee appointment in Westwood. I have 3 kids that attend Pine Hill Elementary, and I co-chair the PTO over there. So I'm looking forward to diving in as well.
Thank you. John, come.
Way to start. All right, so just want you all to know that my beautiful bride is on the select board. But long before she was on the select board, I've been on the PPC. I went to Mass Maritime, graduated as an engineer, shipped out the Merchant Marine for years on the Great Lakes and on the deep sea. In doing that, we were in charge of all the engineering, including all the electrical, plumbing, HVAC, refrigeration, power plant, and power generation. I worked for Westinghouse as an engineer. It's a 325 megawatt power plant. I became the plant engineer and was responsible in part for all the outages. So like all the projects that the plant went through. For 16 years ago, I was asked to come to the PBC. From my background, and it's been awesome ever since. I was on when we did the expansion of the 8th grade middle school, the expansion. This library, the police station, fire station 2, Islington library project. There was really much more than just one building. And I was on the school building committee and the permanent building committee that just finished in Pine Hill, which is very exciting because I was the PTO president for 7 years of that. It's nice to see it come full circle. And I'm looking forward to, well, it's also from the Merchant Marine, you're trained in firefighting because you don't get to call the fire department. You're on your own when you're in the middle of the Atlantic. So we have very stringent fire education.
Great. Thanks, John. Harry Davis?
Morning, everyone. Harry Davis. I've been a resident of Westwood for coming up on 7 years. I have a 3rd grader and 1st grader, also at Pine Hill. Love everything about the town so far. Currently work for an HR technology company. This is also my first committee, and there's a lot of personal and just objective reasons that felt the part to be want to be a part of it. But in short, feel it's important to support our first responders and their place of work with a place that allows them to do it to the best of their capability while keeping them safe. So excited to be on the committee.
Great. Well,
Thank you.
Paul DeLay.
Hi there. I'm Paul DeLay. I'm an almost lifetime resident of Westwood. I'm 57. I was born and raised in Westwood, had a couple of detours, so maybe lived in the town about maybe almost 50 years. I am also, I'm a lawyer. I haven't practiced in quite some time. I keep my license though. I'm the executive director at the Massachusetts Academy of Trial Attorneys. I've done that for 15 years. I worked for another bar association for 10 years before that, running their community service programs, things like that. And this is the first time I've been on a Westwood committee, so I'm happy to join everybody. I'm really looking forward to learning more about it. I have kids in this, I have one kid in the school. I've had other kids in the school, and I really enjoy being in the town, and I look forward to working with everybody. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul. Nancy?
everybody. I'm Nancy James. I live over on Oak Street. So I've been on a number of boards. I've lived here for about 19 years. Relocated from Manhattan, so it's kind of nice to like talk about coming full circle, right? Polar opposites. So I've served on a number of boards in town. I was on the Early Childhood Council. I also coordinate the PMC Kids Ride. Started doing that back in 2019. And every year I say, like, if we don't get enough volunteers, this is it. I'm calling it, but somehow it comes together. So Early Childhood Council, I've been on the Long Range Financial Planning Committee since it came back in 2023, so we're meeting tonight. And so work-wise, I have an accounting background or finance background. I work for a fleet management company, so it's basically commercial finance. We lease large fleets of corporate vehicles, so I'm a VP of account management. So really responsible for deal strategy and execution. Where that comes into play on this, I always look for what does a good deal look like, right? Like everyone needs to walk away thinking like, okay, this worked out for me. So I'm looking forward to bringing that skill set to a project that is so desperately needed in town.
Great. Thank you. I think we have a great committee. And, I think the idea is, again, we're not an advocacy committee. We're really an education committee, trying to bring about compromise among ourselves, but more importantly, among the Westwood citizens. But we can get to yes, because I think we'll find out something needs to be done at the station. Allison McCarthy, I didn't introduce you, but Allison's going to be doing our backup work, the minutes and everything. So thank you for helping, and she'll help us here. And then obviously Molly, I'm going to ask Molly to present the review of the committee charge and responsibilities delivery. But Molly Fitzpatrick, I think you all know her. I said, Molly, you going to help us on this? I thought, am I going to have to do this alone? And she said, no, I'll help. So that's great. And just the secret, I've known her mother for a long time.
Mother is everywhere. Molly Fitzpatrick, nice to see you all. I'm the interim town administrator. I've been in Westwood about 3.5 years, previously as deputy town administrator. I've been with this project since the beginning, so I'm very excited to be here and help move it forward. In all of the paper that we put in front of you today is something called the FS1 Screening Committee Charge, Responsibility, and Deliverables. This should say draft on it. It didn't print that way, but this is a draft document. I want to sort of walk through what the charge is, right? Like, why are we here? And so what I did was watch everything that the select board has said about forming this group, then sat down with the chair and vice chair to try to put that on paper. And so.
And just so you know, once we talk about it, any comments that we may have, I have asked the selectmen if I can be on at their meeting on Monday to present this, because I think they need to endorse it and support us on that. So I think that will happen.
So the FS1 screening, or it should say steering, it went through two different names. So FS1 Steering Committee is actually the name with a T. It is charged with providing an objective, transparent, and community-informed evaluation of both short-term and long-term options for Fire Station 1. The committee will ensure that all options are assessed consistently, grounded in data, and aligned with operational needs, public safety standards, and community expectations. So that's the big overall charge here. Some things that we're going to say underneath that are the committee shall review information, data, and recommendations developed by town staff, fire department personnel, and consultants. So I'm going to pause on that one to say, we have some staff here who I'd like to introduce. So behind me is Assistant Chief Colin McCarthy. Chief Lund wanted to be here today, but we actually have a firefighter graduating from the Fire Academy today, and I told him that I would rather him be there. Director of Community and Economic Development, Nora Lockney. Allison McCarthy was just introduced. She's my right hand. And Building Commissioner Mike Perkins. So we will have, staff won't be at every meeting. We'll coordinate through me who needs to be here, and they will be here as a resource. In terms of consultants, we still have our owner project management company, Vertex, on retainer. And so if we have questions that staff can't answer, we can reach out to them and have them come and help us out as well. Your job is to ask clarifying questions to ensure a full and shared understanding of the material, provide informed consensus-based recommendations to the select board on both the short-term and long-term needs, serving as a bridge between the technical analysis and community priorities, ensuring clarity, transparency, accessibility of information, communicate that information gathered throughout the process to the community in a clear, accurate, and accessible manner, helping residents understand the issues, constraints, and trade-offs involved. And embrace the roles, Ford had alluded to this, as learners, translators, and communicators, absorbing all the technical information and distilling it into understandable terms to share publicly.
So this is really probably your first time seeing this, but I would like to take this or any changes that we make now to the Board of Selectmen on Monday. If you want to take a minute and go through it.
I have a question about point 3.
Providing informed.
Okay, yes, provide informed consensus-based recommendations to the select board on both short and long-term FS1 needs. Are our recommendations supposed to be solely based on the needs of FS1, or are they supposed to also take into consideration the feedback and information we get from the community, having in mind that they're going to eventually have to vote and pass on whatever we recommend?
I would say the latter. I think when that says FS1 needs, it just means the project in total, like the building. The short-term needs of the department and the long-term needs of the department and of the community. So when I say that, I mean like the total project. And I can try to figure out different wording on that one.
Thank you.
Can you clarify the final deliverable? So is it like bring the top couple options to the board? Is it to say we think this is the best option that the town should vote on? Like
A couple different deliverables, right? So first is the select board has asked for a clear list of programmatic needs. So this came up a lot over the conversations of the department has said what it needs, and members of the community have said, is that a need or a want, right? A lot of those conversations. So the first thing is to say, what are the true programmatic needs? The select board wants to see that in writing. Then they want to have a scorecard, which has been developed and we'll share it around, of each of there's been 8 identified options so far, I believe. So it's a scorecard that ranks how well they do in different areas, you know, how land space, land slope, different categories. So they want all 8 of the options that have been shown so far to be scored. And if any other ones come up as we're discussing that. So then going through all of that, the recommendation was to go to the select board and say, this is the highest rank. This is the one that we think that you should go for.
And I'll see really that process going January, February. We're going to be doing a lot of that. Hopefully we don't get a lot of snow, so we're going to go out and see some of these properties. But I think that's probably the bulk of what we'll be doing.
So I'm actually not clear on point 3 either. So where we talk about community, I mean, I think, right, like it has to start with needs.
Mhm.
And I think at the forum, you did a great job about like outlining what's needed in a building in terms of code.
Yep.
You know, like, so I don't know how the community, I mean, I think needs to be a massive community education, because I think there's a lot of confusion out there, I'll say that politely, about what's truly needed. And I think we're still having the needs and wants discussion like at this point. So I think it needs to be like very, very, very fact-based. So
And that's what that's the reason why Monday we're gonna meet at the station. That's where our meeting will be this coming Monday, coming up on the 8th, to go through the station. And then the second meeting will be probably here to discuss this and try to come out. But you're absolutely right. We have to look at what the needs are. And one of the things I found out my short time here, but during the campaign that was out there, is I'm not sure what a lot of people understand. What does a fire department really do? You know, the comment I hear, well, how many fires are they putting out? Most of their time is not dealing with fires. It's dealing with our safety, taking care of it. So I think, and trying to get people to be safe. So
I think how many paramedics we have. I
Yeah.
think that's, I mean, that's a game changer for us as a town, that we provide that level of support. But that impacts the need.
I mean, where I'm living now, I'm in the back of Fox Hill. Already today, I've seen 2 ambulances there. So, you know, that's what occupied their time for the men and women that were there.
But it's not our responsibility for staffing of the fire department. That is their responsibility. Correct.
There are a list of town requirements. So the fire department exists to what are the requirements that the town is asking fire department to take care of.
Are you saying a list of operations
Everything that
that the
we-
fire department does?
Well, no, everything that we, the town, is asking the fire department to do.
We can get that.
Based on that, that's what's required.
But that should be able to come in the third point. That's part of our work.
Right, but we can't answer that. We need someone.
No, you're right, right. We're gonna be obtaining information from people.
As I understand it, when we talk about the programmatic needs, I certainly need some education on this as well. But based on where I see it now, it really breaks down into 3 different categories. What the town directs as to what they want, which is exactly what John just said, we need that. The second is what's required by city, state, federal mandates that a fire department has to have.
Yep.
And then the third is what I assume is based on information we get from our fire department on what they need to meet those requirements. So it's the program, it's not coming from one source. It's
Yeah,
coming from 3 different sources and maybe more. So those are the only 3 that I'm aware of right now. I think if there's other inputs or other, sources, that's kind of where we need to start to figure them out. Because when we get down to thinking about what are those programmatic needs, those are the 3 buckets that we're going to be looking at. What does the town want? What does the law require? And what does the chief say we have to have in order to meet those points?
I would also add NFPA requirements, which is very much like building code requirements.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much mandated. So I would.
I would absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, to town code, what's the
Yeah.
building code? you know,
Right, it's a building code, yeah.
Just sort of on the line of how, we're gonna get information, right? So we have 2 staff people for this committee. One is Allison, who's in charge of meeting notices, meeting minutes, logistics, all the things that I'm really good at. So Al, if you have any sort of questions about where are we meeting, when are we meeting, although it should be 10:15 here, those questions are gonna go to Allison. If you have a question that says, I heard the fire department does X, Y, or Z, can we talk about that more? All of those requests should come to me. So like I said, town staff's not going to be at every meeting, but based on whatever questions that we have, I'll be able to then either answer the question through staff or bring staff to answer the question. So administrative questions go to Allison, content questions go through me. We've also set up an email directly for this committee. It's called FS1 committee. Those emails go through the town administrator's office, and then we will share all of the emails that come in. So if you are out and about and somebody has a question that you're not able to answer about the fire station, you can say, oh, there's this email, fs1committee@westwoodma.gov. Send them an email and either they will get back to you and the committee will address that. If you see something on social media and you say, I see that you're posting about this project, do you know that you can, go to this website to see all of our agendas and all the meetings? There's one website on the town's website that will have all of that content. So that's the communication bit.
Can you provide an updated copy of those 8 options? Thank you.
There was a handout that the town had, probably send that, that was pretty.
I'll send around the slide deck from.
Yeah, that was good.
And the,
About emails, as there are FOIA requests. Chance that we could all get a town address. Well, no, because FOIA, so the FinCom almost split last year, because their private work emails were FOIA. Freedom of information.
That's really up to Molly. I have a Gmail account, which I only use. I've never used it before, and I'm only using it for this project.
But maybe the solution is we all get a Gmail account that's attached to that.
I set up a separate Gmail account.
Yes, yeah, so mine's a separate Gmail account. So a lot of you have Gmail accounts. They're probably not separate. I would suggest you have a separate email account just for this. That way you won't get in trouble, because remember, they're gonna get any email that you send on that account will go to the town hall, and they're saving that because somebody may want.
Yeah, if you don't email anybody else on the committee, then you're totally good, because if all of your emails are going to staff, then we're in charge of it, not you.
But my understanding is that on a FOIA request, you don't get to make a decision. Someone has to go through the emails.
All the emails that you sent to us.
And in order for you to comply with them, you have to look at the emails to see which one's been sent.
You have to look through all of your emails.
You'd be able to now.
Yeah,
But they're coming, all
They're all
emails are coming into their office.
or they're all coming into our server, so we can look through them.
No, what John's saying is if you get a FOIA request, and someone is using just their general email account, in order for you to comply with the FOIA request, do you then need access to his entire email account so you can determine what responded?
I would at that point say to John, I need you to go through all of your emails and send me all of the emails that you sent.
But that's why I would not use for this business, your personal email. Just use one email account that's dedicated to this project. And then you're gonna be safe.
You should get an email from the town, because you're gonna get emails not only from Molly and Alice, you're also gonna get some from the OPM, you're gonna get some from the architect, you're gonna get some as the chairman. You're gonna get a lot more emails that don't necessarily go to the town. Those emails are subject to FOIA requests.
Right.
You have it on that email, but it just makes everything clean and safe. And I know that it costs a lot of money. When I talk to IT, it doesn't really cost a lot of money. It's like $100.
It's $100 per person for the year, and right now it is the directive that we're not able to give emails to all of the boards and committees that we have. There are too many of them, and we don't have the funds to do it.
Just saying, they're all volunteering all the time. How much is it worth? I have one from PVC and all this is gonna be going through that. So, I mean. Tom Brady destroyed this one.
Separate email account, it's just.
So just.
All right, anything more on the committee charge? Okay. Core responsibilities, that's really in there, deliverables, staffing and support. Meeting logistics, meeting operations, all that. For our meeting, I'm jumping ahead, but for a meeting on the 8th, we should be parking in the back of the firehouse.
If you're able, we had a conversation about possibly having that meeting a little bit earlier, if that works better for people, or it's open 24/7, so we don't have to worry about the building opening. Parking behind the station, you could also park, I think, here and walk across. That would be the alternative, or at town hall if you want to walk a little bit further.
I mean, just for personally,
Yeah.
I understand the need to start the meetings in this building at 10 or 10:15 because that's when it opens.
Right.
But the extent that we're doing meetings at the fire station or walking site visits, things
Yeah.
like that, if it's possible to start them earlier. Personally, that's just better for my schedule.
Does that work for everybody if we start earlier? I mean, some of you have young children that you're dealing with, so
Yeah, how early?
Hourly, yeah.
Tell me what works.
What would
tell us
work
what
for
works
you?
guys.
I'm good at 9.
I'd say probably not, yeah, go to your kids on
So
the bus.
why don't we do the meeting next Monday at 9 at the fire station?
I cover the crossing guard down at Downey from 8:30 to 9. So I would get it right after that. So it'll be a little bit after 9. And that's fine.
9:30?
I mean, you can start at 9. I'm just gonna be a couple minutes late.
Oh, it's just 9:30.
Yeah.
Let's do 9:30.
9:30. Okay, 9:30 looks great.
All right.
It's not to be at the light. We say,
No, this is the only room that has the hybrid door.
I think we're really, is there any other business to come before the meeting?
I had a question for Molly.
Okay, I'll go.
Sorry.
I'm gonna get up.
I don't know if I'm jumping the gun or not, but when we get to like evaluate information. Are there any of the studies, documents, in trying not to reinvent the wheel from scratch, having in mind what Ford said about wanting to get this done as quickly as possible? So are there any, studies, analysis, just objective, fact-based things that were done before that are still applicable? And if there are, can we get copies of them?
Yeah, so there's been 3 different facility studies, looking backwards to you, I think, 2023, 2013, 2007. Yep. So I will get, they're all lengthy. Colin has been working on a document that's gonna synthesize the 3. So that is coming, but I'm happy to put all 3 of them in the drive that I'll be creating that people can access.
Yeah, I'd like to see the original.
Let me suggest that, does it make sense to have that on our the website? So I think, we could all get a link to the website for those documents, and having as much of that on the website for everybody to see. Very important.
I do think that's critical, is putting his all there.
And because if somebody comes up to you and asks you a question, you can say, well, go to the website.
Mhm.
You don't have to answer anything. You just,
Right.
the website will have that information for them to look at.
And they used to all be on the.
Yeah.
Previous.
They were there.
Yeah, they were.
Sometimes it was hard to find.
It was.
I find going through the website of Westwood a little bit of a challenge. And just because I didn't know the website well, but I'm used to doing that sort of thing. So I think if we have that one site where everybody can go to, we can just give the link and be available.
Great.
Okay. Anything else to come before the committee?
Mr. Chair, can I ask a quick question
Of course you can.
about next week's meeting on Monday? I actually wasn't planning on being able to go to that, but it sounds like it's an in-person at the fire station, right?
Correct.
It's a field trip. And so I can go if we could push it back to 9:15, sort of a compromise between the 9:30 and 9 o'clock. I think that might work for me.
Does 9:15 work for you all? 9:15.
It would just give me a little bit more time
Thank you,
to get where I need to go after that. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
If not, I will accept a motion, excuse me. Oh, thank you. Are there any questions from the public or press? Please provide your name and address if there are. There's nothing on the, okay?
I have a question. If you want, do I need to come to a?
You can just,
Okay.
I think they can hear, but just
Okay.
name and,
Come a little bit closer, you said. I'm not sure how far back it is.
Kathy Wallace, 283 Farm Lane, and thank you to all of you for volunteering your time. This is such an urgent and critical project for the town. My question is something I didn't hear addressed during the deliverable phase. What are the dates? What's the date you're shooting for? Are we attempting to get to the May 2026 town meeting to vote on something? And if yes, what is the deadline to get it to FinCom and through the
I think
process?
we'll wait for the selectmen to review our charge and get back to us, and I think they're gonna give us some
Okay,
dates.
okay, very good. Thank you.
Any others? I'll accept the motion.
Motion to adjourn?
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
You have to do a roll
Jody
call.
Petroselli?
You have to do a roll, oh, yeah, sorry.
Aye.
Ken Ayers?
Yes.
Peter Bean? Thank you. Sarah Cadley?
Yes.
John Cummings?
Yes.
Harry Davis?
Yes.
Paul Delay?
Bye.
Nancy James?
Yes.
And Ford Spalding, I'm a yes. Thank you all.
Well, Joe?
Thank you.
Thank you.